Hey, what's up? What's up? Gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Wednesday morning, September 24th, and it is 3:14 in the a.m. Okay, I'm collecting my thoughts. No, seriously, I mentioned that I tuned into one of my social media platforms, and I saw a little heart icon at the bottom of the screen. And it forced me to take a look at the little heart at the bottom of the screen. And it turns out that heart was for dating. And I thought, who in their right mind would use this dating app when, this particular platform can't keep accounts safe? And there's no human contact or context for customer service, which is frustrating. How do you run a business and not have customer service? Now, I'm used to the robo directory. If you like to speak to an agent and being put on hold for extensive lengths of time, but I've never ever really fully understood how you can run a business and not have at least one human being to talk to. At some points, you could even placate me with, "We'll get back to you," because I know what that means. But having nothing, I'm going to say that's irritating as hell. I don't know about you, but for me, that is irritating. But I digress. And just looking at that made me think about how many people treat the internet and social media platforms as a Lonely Hearts Club. And then how many of those very same people get online and talk about how they've been done wrong. I being one of them, but I didn't use social media to meet an individual. Did it the good old-fashioned way, just out and about, and hey, how you doing? But this particular individual I've shared, you have to go back into my video archives to see the various things that I've shared. But I want to say, I can't put the demise all on them, but I can say there are some things that we fail to look at, and then we want to project. And see, I said we because I'm including myself. You've heard me say lust has an expiration date. And we relegate lust to, aspects of sex or eroticism. Lust, in its most simple terms, is yearning for something that I can't have or shouldn't have. And that's my definition in its most basic terms. Lust is ignoring red flags, which I've shared that I've done, I'm walking down the Midway eating peanuts and popcorn and saying, oh, look at the pretty flags. I'm at the circus. Until the clowns show up. And I need to say this, I've done my bit of performing. See, being able to take accountability for your actions is very important. You know, and most of us, when we get our feelings hurt or our feelings get involved, we get all emo and Drake. You know, we want to project. And we fail to look at what part did I play in my chaos. I don't do that. I may start out that way, but I now am in the habit of pumping my brakes and looking at my choices. How did I act on them? How did I play things out? And how do I get better? How do I heal from this? That's what I mean when I say, how do I get better? How do I heal from this? Then I start looking at how I overrode signals, signs from the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Folks, I just want to tell you, when the wheels come off, or prior to the wheels coming off, when you start seeing red flags or you start having second thoughts or the gut instinct, it's time to do some soul searching, if you will. And to be honest, and to engage in honest communication with whoever it is that you're attracted to. Bottom line, you know, that's what fixes things. Or that's what, you know, what is that? Conscious uncoupling. I believe that was the term. Yeah, that's what leads to that. Instead of the entanglements and situationships that we find ourselves in. One of the very first signs that we, and I say we, I would say the majority of us have a tendency to ignore, is the emotional infidelity. When we emotionally check out of situations. You know, look for this red flag. When early on, it was this high energy of connection and you know, likeness and, you know, just joined at the hip, conjoined kind of connection. You hang up, no, you hang up, no, which, and the calls in the middle of the night, hey, I can't sleep, I'm just thinking. You know, all that kind of stuff. Look for that and the intensity of that. And then look for the disconnect. Because if it happens in a short period of time, that person was never really invested. Now, if it happens and you're having conversations about it, that person respects you and is looking to preserve some level of connection. You know, because a lot of us do rush into things based on feeling. But the minute that emotional infidelity shows up, you have to address it. And you're less likely to have your feelings hurt, you're less likely to be bitter, you're less likely to be wounded. when you begin to address these disconnects. And this doesn't just happen in, I want to say, relationships. This happens in friendships. This happens in employment. The minute you start feeling some levels of resentment and start talking a disgruntled speech, which I am known for, you know, it's time to take some time off. Have a little staycation or, you know, get away. But if you don't, those are the opportunities where the seeds of bitterness grow. And it turns into something very ugly. I guess what's important is know what you're planting and expecting the harvest.